If you are planning your first barndominium build right now, there's a very good chance you are already making at least one of the mistakes I am about to cover, and you do not know it yet. Not because you're not smart or not doing your research, but because the barndominium industry has a serious information problem. The content that gets the most views celebrates the dream. The gorgeous finished photos, the open ceilings, the wide-open floor plans, the jaw-dropping before and after reveals. What almost nobody talks about is what goes wrong between the excitement of buying a kit and the day you actually move in, and why first-time builders keep making the same 7 mistakes over and over again regardless of how much YouTube they watch beforehand. Today I'm going to change that. These are the real mistakes, the honest consequences, and the specific things you can do right now to make sure you're not the next person posting in a barndominium group asking how to fix a problem that should never have happened in the first place. Subscribe right now and hit the notification bell because this channel is where we tell you what the barndominium industry does not want you to know. The real costs, the real mistakes, and the real decisions that determine whether your build goes right or goes sideways. Like this video if you believe that honest information is more valuable than beautiful content. And stay with me all the way to the end, because mistake number 7 is the one that financially ruins more first-time barndominium builds than all the other 6 combined, and I am saving it for last because it is that important. Do not skip ahead. Mistake 1. Falling in love with the kit price. This is the mistake that starts more barndominium disasters than any other single decision, and it happens at the very beginning of the process, before a single stake goes in the ground. A first-time builder finds a barndominium kit online. The price, $28,000, $35,000, $45,000. Seems almost too good to be true for a home of this size. They get excited. They start mentally spending the rest of their budget on finishes and furniture. And they make the critical error of treating the kit price as a meaningful representation of what their finished home is going to cost. Here is the honest reality. The kit is the structural shell, the steel columns, the roofing and wall panels, the trim and fasteners. It is not a home. It is the beginning of a home. In most barndominium builds, the kit represents 15 to 25% of the total finished project cost. The other 75 to 85% is foundation, insulation, interior framing, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, finishes, site work, and contractor fees. A $35,000 kit does not become a finished home for $80,000. It becomes a finished home for $220,000 to $350,000 or more, depending on your size, your location, and your finish level. The fix is simple, but requires discipline. Before you buy any kit, get a full build estimate from a local general contractor who has completed barndominium projects. Not a ballpark, not a rough number. A real line item estimate that covers every phase from site prep to final finish. That number is your project cost. The kit price is just one line on that estimate. Mistake 2. Buying the kit before checking local codes. This mistake costs first-time builders months of delay, thousands of dollars in redesign fees, and in some cases the entire project. And it happens because the excitement of finding the right kit overwhelms the unglamorous but essential step of confirming that your county will actually let you build it. Zoning and building codes for barndominium construction vary enormously across the United States. Some counties welcome metal building residential construction with straightforward permitting processes. Others have aesthetic requirements that prohibit certain exterior cladding materials. Others have agricultural zoning classifications that allow metal buildings but restrict residential use. Others have minimum square footage requirements or setback rules that affect how a barndominium can be positioned on your parcel. And some counties in certain states have specific restrictions on steel frame construction as a primary residence that are not widely publicized and not discoverable through a general online search. The consequences of discovering these constraints after you have purchased a kit and begun site preparation range from expensive redesign to a complete inability to build what you planned on the land you own. Neither outcome is acceptable when a single phone call to your county building department before the purchase could have prevented it. The fix is to make 2 phone calls before you spend $1 on a kit. The first call is to your county building department to confirm that a barndominium, a metal building used as a primary residence, is permitted in your specific zoning district, what the permitting process involves, and what engineering documentation they require. The second call is to your county assessor's office to understand how the finished building will be assessed for property tax purposes, including weather-covered, but open structures like a breezeway count toward your taxable square footage. Both conversations take less than 30 minutes, and the information they provide is worth far more than the time they cost. Mistake 3. Skipping the thermal break and underspecifying insulation. This is the technical mistake that first-time barndominium builders make most consistently, and it is one whose consequences are invisible until significant damage has already occurred behind your finished walls. Steel conducts heat and cold with extraordinary efficiency. In a steel-frame barndominium, the structural members create a direct conductive path between the outside environment and the inside of your home. In winter, this causes condensation on the interior face of your walls. In summer, it drives heat through the frame into your living space. The result is a home that is uncomfortable to live in and expensive to cool and heat. And over time, the moisture from condensation causes hidden rust on the interior face of your steel panels behind your finished wall surfaces. Two specific details prevent this problem, and both are consistently skipped by first-time builders focused on reducing upfront costs. The first is thermal breaks. Insulating strips installed between the metal exterior cladding and the steel structural frame that interrupt the conductive path. They must be specified in your building package and installed during erection. You cannot add them after the structure is assembled without tearing the exterior cladding off. The second is spray foam thickness. Closed-cell spray foam must be applied to a minimum thickness of 2 inches to function as a true vapor barrier. Below 2 inches, moisture vapor still migrates through the foam and reaches the cold metal skin, where it condenses and causes the hidden rust damage I just described. The fix is to specify thermal breaks explicitly in your kit contract, in writing, as a line item, not as a verbal assurance. And to write minimum 2-inch closed-cell spray foam into your insulation contract and verify the thickness with a calibrated depth gauge during installation before your insulation contractor leaves the site. Mistake 4. Hiring the wrong contractor. A barndominium is not a conventional stick frame house. The structural system is different, the sequencing of construction phases is different, the insulation requirements are different, and the detailing at critical junctions, roof penetrations, door and window rough openings, breezeway connections in a dogtrot configuration, requires experience that a general residential contractor without metal building background simply does not have. First-time builders consistently make the mistake of hiring the cheapest available contractor or the most familiar contractor, the one who built their neighbor's house or their cousin's shop, rather than a contractor who has specifically completed barndominium residential projects from foundation to finish. The result is expensive mistakes at the details that matter most. Incorrectly installed flashing that leads to water intrusion. Improperly specified anchor bolt layouts that affect how the kit erects. Electrical rough-in that does not account for the insulation system. HVAC design that treats the barndominium like a stick frame house and fails to account for the thermal characteristics of a metal building envelope. The fix is to require that any contractor you hire shows you 3 completed barndominium projects they can give you references for, not projects they're currently building, not projects they're planning. Finished projects with owners who have lived in them for at least a year. Call those owners. Ask them whether the build went according to budget and timeline, whether there were water intrusion or condensation issues in the first year, and whether they would hire the same contractor again. That 30-minute reference check is worth more than any number of confident sales presentations. Mistake 5. Designing the floor plan around the wrong priorities. First-time barndominium builders are frequently dazzled by the open plan possibilities that the clear-span structural system enables, and they design floor plans that maximize the wow factor of that openness without thinking carefully about how they will actually live in the space over years and decades. The most common version of this mistake is designing a floor plan with insufficient bedroom and bathroom separation from the main living areas. A completely open plan barndominium with a great room that flows directly into a sleeping loft and a single bathroom on the main floor is extraordinary to photograph and extremely difficult to live in once the novelty wears off. Sound travels. Privacy disappears. The things that make a home livable for real people over time. Separation between active and quiet zones. Adequate bathroom count for the number of occupants dedicated storage that keeps the open plan actually looking open, require intentional floor plan decisions that go against the instinct to maximize openness. The second version of this mistake is designing for your current life rather than your anticipated life. A couple building a barndominium at 30 who designs a 2-bedroom floor plan with no growth capacity may find themselves needing 3 bedrooms at 35 and having no affordable path to get there. A single person who designs without a dedicated home office may discover that remote work in an open-plan great room is incompatible with professional productivity. The fix is to spend serious time, not an afternoon, but weeks, living with your floor plan concept before you finalize it. Walk through it mentally at every hour of a typical day. Where are you when the kids wake up on Saturday morning? Where does your spouse work when you are both at home? Where do guests sleep, and how do they access a bathroom without walking through your bedroom? Where does the dog go when the vet says muddy paws stay off the floors? A floor plan that survives those questions is one you can live in. A floor plan that collapses under them needs revision before construction begins. Mistake 6. Underestimating the timeline. First-time barndominium builders consistently underestimate how long the build process takes from land purchase to move in, and they make financial and logistical commitments that assume a timeline that is almost never achievable in practice. The optimistic timeline that gets shared in barndominium communities by land, order kit, build, move in within 12 months is achievable under ideal conditions with an experienced team, no permitting delays, no weather disruptions, no supply chain issues, and a complete and fully funded build budget from day one. In practice, none of those conditions are guaranteed, and most builds encounter at least several of them. A realistic timeline for a first-time barndominium builder working with an experienced contractor in a typical rural market looks more like this. Land purchase and due diligence, 1 to 3 months. Permitting and engineering, 2 to 4 months, and longer in counties with slow building departments or complex requirements. Foundation and site work, 1 to 2 months. Kit delivery and erection, 1 to 2 months. Rough mechanical systems, 2 to 3 months. Insulation, 2 to 4 weeks. Interior finish work, 3 to 6 months depending on complexity and subcontractor availability. Final inspections and certificate of occupancy, 2 to 6 weeks. Total realistic timeline from land purchase to move in for a first-time builder, 18 to 30 months. Plan your housing arrangements, your construction financing draw schedule, and your personal and professional commitments accordingly. The builder who plans for 18 months and finishes in 22 is in a much better position than the builder who plans for 12 months and is still in a rental at month 20. Mistake 7. Not having enough money to finish. I told you at the beginning that I was saving the most financially damaging mistake for last. Here it is, and it is painful to watch happen because it is entirely preventable. The most common way a barndominium build fails is not a structural problem, not a contractor problem, and not a permitting problem. It is a builder who runs out of money before the home is finished and livable. They bought the kit. They poured the foundation. They got the shell up. They started the interior. And then the money ran out because the build cost more than they budgeted, took longer than they planned, or because their financing was structured in a way that did not account for the full scope of what needed to be done. A partially finished barndominium is not a home. It is an expensive problem. An uninsulated steel shell deteriorates. A shell with rough electrical and no drywall cannot be legally occupied. A shell with no mechanical systems cannot be insured as a residential structure in most markets. And the cost of restarting a stalled build, remobilizing contractors, resourcing materials at current prices, repairing deterioration that occurred during the pause, is significantly higher than the cost of completing it would have been if the money had been there from the beginning. The fix requires financial honesty before you commit to anything. Add up your full build estimate from a qualified contractor. Add a contingency of 20% on top of that number. Not 10%, not 15%, 20%, because first-time builds almost always encounter cost surprises, and your contingency is the buffer that keeps those surprises from stopping the project. Confirm that the total, the estimate plus the contingency, is fully funded through your savings, your construction loan, and any other capital sources before you sign a single contract. If it is not fully funded, do not start. Scale the project down until the full funded amount covers the full scope with contingency. A smaller finished barndominium that you can afford to complete is worth infinitely more than a larger unfinished one that you cannot. The barndominium dream is real and it is achievable, but it rewards the builders who go in with honest numbers, realistic timelines, the right professionals, and enough money to see it through. Every one of those 7 mistakes is avoidable. Every single one. And knowing what they are before you build is how you avoid them. If this video saved you from even one of these mistakes, hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more first-time builders who need this information before they commit to decisions they cannot undo. Subscribe and turn on notifications because we publish real barndominium knowledge, real cost breakdowns, and honest alternative home content every single week. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of these 7 mistakes were you closest to making before you watch this video? I read every single comment, and I want to know. Share this video with anyone you know who is planning a barndominium build right now. It might be the most important thing they watch before they break ground. Build smart. Build finished. I will see you in the next one.